have over 3,200 pensioners in my congressional district alone in Wisconsin under the Central States Fund. I've heard from many of them. And to hear the fear in their voices, the look in their eyes, for workers through their entire life have done what they were supposed to, negotiated in good faith, took an abeyance of any wage increases in order to help fund the pension plan, followed the rules, and through no fault of their own, we now as a nation collectively face this crisis. And it is a crisis. We've known for years in this committee that we had to take action in order to shore up the multi-employer pension plan. Representative Teaberry, when he was a colleague, and I headed up a retirement savings task force when it came to our approach to comprehensive tax reform. The problem was laid out in front of us then. But the time for inaction, the time for talk, the time for not moving something along is long past. We face a crisis at our doorstep now, and the longer we delay, the greater the risk that we're going to see a flight to the doors with solvent plans. Those who don't want to stay within the multi-employer pension system, they have the option of an early buyout, and that means the last man standing rule would apply. And no one wants to be that last man standing in a multi-employer program that is insolvent, assuming the liabilities of other companies that are buying their way out. We've already seen some of this action being taken. That's why it's so crucial that we move something forward out of this committee and out of the House now, and preferably in a bipartisan way. But this will force the Senate's hand then to also take up the serious issue. And we've for years known this, and I know my colleagues are sincere when you're expressing concern about the plight of many of those in our audience today and throughout the country that are faced with this crisis, but just to sit here and talk more isn't the answer. I don't claim that this is the perfect response or the perfect solution to the problem in front of us, but it does move it forward, and it does address the serious concern. Central States is due to be completely insolvent in 5 years. That happens to coincide with insolvency with PBGC. And if these plans fail with the multi-employer system, it will take the PBGC system down with it. That's just the reality. And then we're left with nothing. And that's the danger that we're facing. So right now we have an opportunity to step up, start making some decisions. I know one of our colleagues here said during their statement that it's a simple proposition. Money going in must equal money going out, and that's true. But that wasn't the principle that was applied a little under 2 years ago when you passed a $2.3 trillion tax cut without paying for it. Without paying for it. That was money out and no money coming in. And now you're quibbling over $32 billion over the next 10 years in order to help tens of thousands of workers in this country who have fear in their eyes going into their retirement or currently in retirement, not sure if those promises are going to be kept. And I couldn't think of anything more fearful for a family than not being in a position to be able to provide in your retirement what you thought you were working for and that you thought was promised to you. As a committee, we've got jurisdiction, so we've got responsibility to come up with the answers to this. And again, I commend the chairman and others who have been working on this issue for so much time, that we're at this doorstep now, and it's time to move forward. And the time for further discussions and trying to come up with a plan B, C, or D is long past. But if you have a better idea, I encourage you to offer it, because this is the only thing before us today. And if there's a better approach other than benefit cuts, Mr. Brady, this is what the 2014 law led to. Because under the 2014 law, these plans could be negotiated. It has to go to Treasury for approval if Treasury felt it was solvent, but most of those plans were requiring deep and severe benefit cuts, which I don't think is the answer to all this. We'd love to hear any alternative that you have to propose, but right now this is what's before us. I intend to fully support it. Let's move this forward. Let's get the Senate to work in a bipartisan way to solve it. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. The